Hey everyone.
Hello. Off in thought.
Yeah. Yeah. We've definitely been off in our thoughts a lot. We were just sitting here talking about that. And I was like, we need to just talk about that as being in our thoughts. It's so crazy because, over the past couple years, however long we've been doing this, I mean, we've just become so aware of so many things that are so healthy in our lives and that really help us to stay centered, in the spirit and everything. But we are mortal. We have our weaknesses, and we have really strong behaviors and patterns and things, that we've just had for almost, me 50 years, you close to 50 years. And some things just don't leave overnight. It just doesn't. And I think one of those things is really our thoughts, the way that we think. And I think that is too just the human experience as being, we have the capacity, we have memories, we have a life before, yesterday. We have yesterday. We just have memories. And we also have, we know that we have a future. And so we can get really caught up in our thoughts and being in relationships with people. It's so easy to get caught up in the thoughts of conversations and expectations and what we want other people to do and just things that other people think about us or we hear about us. It's so easy to just latch on to these little thoughts, and then our mind just starts reeling and spinning and going, and then next thing you know, a week has gone and I'm like, I've not centered myself. Like, I haven't even been present. I've been so caught in my thoughts with all this stuff going on and people and life that I'm not present, and I miss out on so much beauty, and I miss out on just the miracles that are happening around me, and really being able to hear the spirit and listen and follow. It's like so many times we've had so many videos where we talk about, just being in the spirit, like being present, being right now, and really truly being led by the spirit every moment. Like, I can remember you like sharing about going to work and just people needing you, and it's just like our day is filled with following the spirit. It's like, of course we have plans and we have things to do, but when we're just open to the present moment in the spirit, that's what guides us. And we can get so caught in our own thoughts trying to make things happen, and it just makes life really challenging. It really does. I personally have been very much caught in my codependent thinking lately. We're in the process of moving, and there's just lots of parts and pieces that are going with that. Finding a new place, just all sorts of deadlines and things, and so there are plans. Like, I have to make plans. I am in my thoughts and stuff, and it just sometimes gets to be too much. And I'm so grateful that I have the practice, and I'm addicted. I don't think I'm addicted, but I have the practice of meditating. Like, I have to sit on my back porch or in my closet if I have to. I have to have that time by myself to connect with the spirit and to be in my scriptures. Like, last couple days ago, I read like the whole book of Proverbs, and I just learned so much. It opened my eyes to understanding so much, and because I read it all through like quickly, and I love that. I love that whenever we just stop and we take the time to get out of our thoughts and to open ourselves up to the spirit. It's just such a different place. There's just so much peace that comes with it. And no matter what's going on in our lives, we know that God is there. We know the spirit is there to help us with it. I don't know this.
Yeah. If you're living in Louisiana and you're not living in the present moment, you're gonna miss the azaleas out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, huh?
They go pretty fast.
That's
You
true.
see how fast days go. azaleas are around for a little while, but if you're not present,
Yeah,
just
that's
for
true.
a few days attached together, the azaleas are gone. And that's how quick it can happen, you know, that a day turns into a week, turns into a month. It's like time is so just disappears.
Well, I think it's been like a month since we've recorded. And we were like, oh, we're going to do this every week. But, you know, it's...
Yeah, a lot of things come in your life and you're just following that path. Things change, and that's good. You know, people change. There's somebody that I love say that this person just doesn't think that people change.
Oh.
And I was like, wow. So when I was driving to church this morning, and it's just on top of that people don't change, I was thinking about like our blood, our generational traumas, like the things that we have within us. And upon change, like there are things in me that if I'm going to change these things, they've been around for a couple hundred years. You know, literal behaviors that have like been traumatizing within my DNA, within who I am as a person, that I'm either going to work through these things so my kids and their kids don't have to struggle so hard with them, or I'm just gonna live my life and let them deal with it. I say them, me, us. Somebody has to work through this stuff. And my thought about that was just how powerful the choices that we make really are. Like how important they really are. You know, my DNA, like who I am, experienced a lot of death, a lot of suffering, a lot of persecution. I mean, that's like within me. Are you following that? That's really part of who I am. And it'd be really easy to spend my whole life just not even wanting to face a lot of the things that are within me and just suppress them and, you know, work on other people and fix other people and be caught up into behaviors that have just been a part of who we are for hundreds of years. I say hundreds because that's the genealogy I know, but it might be, I mean, it's probably since Adam and Eve.
Right.
You know, stuff that hasn't been worked out, kinks that haven't been worked out of who I am. And I'm either going to work on myself and improve and grow, or I'm not. And, you know, if I'm not working on myself and improving and growing, then I'm kind of dumping it off on generations that have yet been unborn. You know, generations that I can change. The scriptures talk about it, like 8 generations are going to be cursed or something like that. How many?
Right.
You know, do I need to be a part of that, or do I want to be a part of blessing my posterity, blessing those that come after me? So how can I do that? By working on myself, by improving myself spiritually, and in facing things that nobody's wanted to look at for many generations. Maybe not even aware of, not even consciously enlightened enough to have the desire to work on them.
To even know that it's something to even be worked on.
Worked their entire life till the grave, just work without really producing that much, but work because they didn't even want to stop and face what they were working their way away from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
just
totally.
hard workers, good workers, good people. But there's stuff that people were just able to live their whole life and not look at.
Well, I think, too, that people have just been in survival. There's been so much survival. You know, I mean, when your whole thought is like, I just need food. I need food and a roof over my head. They're not thinking existential stuff, you know. It's
lucky
like they're
us.
not thinking about themselves or about like their thoughts or their behaviors or even recognizing anything. But we live in a time where we've been given the opportunity to do this work with ourselves.
Generations of trauma.
Yeah, totally. Like, our ancestors need us, and
Exactly.
they do.
Yeah,
They need
exactly.
us to overcome all this stuff. And the crazy thing is that this life, it gives us opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to break these certain behaviors and patterns. Like, if you look at your life, I'm looking at my life and I'm recognizing I have certain behaviors of, like, that I just repeat, and God is continually giving me like almost the same exact experiences. Like, when are you gonna learn? Like, here you go. I'm giving you another opportunity to not run, to not break down, to not, dissociate, and to not, because my thing is, when things get really hard, I check out. I'm like, I will go into my own world. I do not like confrontation because it makes me very uncomfortable to say things that might hurt someone. But I'm having to face all of this stuff. I am being given an opportunity to overcome these patterns of just dismissal, being very dismissive about things, avoiding. I am the greatest avoider, procrastinator. But these are not great attributes. These are not great things,
It's a good story to
for
change.
us to, have and live healthy lives. Like, if I want to have a relationship with someone, I cannot avoid uncomfortable conversations because it's just never going to get deep. It's like, it's so interesting because, my husband and I, it's out there. He has bipolar, and he has his whole life, and it just is a thing. And right now he's not getting treatment. And so, but we're about to get that help for him. In that comes lots of different moods and triggers and just all sorts of stuff. And so it is giving me an opportunity to face things that I have not wanted to, and to stand up and to have a voice and say really hard things. Because, whenever I'm in my own healing process and I'm doing things for myself, I can just sit down and write in my journal and express stuff and get stuff out and work through stuff and process stuff. But whenever you are in a relationship with a person and you're trying to heal a relationship together and move forward in a relationship, you're going to come up against triggers and patterns and things that have to be talked about, that have to be discussed. I can't just go write my journal, and he can't go write in his journal and just leave it separate and then think that anything's going to change. We have to do the hard work. And like I said, I've always been an avoider because I don't like the hard conversations. I don't, especially when they come from a strong German. He's got the German ancestry, and they're just vocal and strong and say things, and it's hard and it hurts, and it's just I don't like to feel hurt. I don't like to, it's I've got this sensitive, very, I've been told before that I need to grow a thicker skin, and I'm too sensitive, and I'm like, but God has created me to be exactly how I am, and he's showing me new ways to communicate, that there are ways to break these patterns, to break these behaviors, to break these strongholds in our lives that are keeping us from being fully who we truly are, that he sent us here to be. And there's just so many things in this world that keep us from that. And one of them is really our minds. and our attachments to people, places, and things.
I was listening to a TED Talk recently, and it was about being sensitive. And when I was listening to that, I realized that everybody is very sensitive, but some have just responded to sensitivity through this big giant wall that they just put up on this just tough, hard, never gonna feel. So they've taken it to the extreme of I'm never gonna feel. Then you've got the addict that's gonna kill the feel. Then you've got the depressed person that just isn't going to feel anything. You know, I mean, all the different ways that a person is avoiding feeling and actually being present and there for it. Oh, without any feeling, there is no healing. You know, I mean, really, it's the only way to heal stuff. So I can be really tough and, oh, well, he's heartless. He doesn't have any feelings. Or I can be the crybaby and cry about everything. Oh, he's so sensitive. Well, I don't know. I think everybody just, how do they respond to emotions? You know?
Yeah.
And if you choose not to feel, and you choose not to be part of that healing process, you're not going to be present. You're not going to be connected. You're not going to be... I've seen some very angry people. I've seen some very passive people. But I've never seen a very healthy person that doesn't choose to really feel, to be aware, to be present. You know, it's like I can see an ancestor beating one of my ancestors as they were a kid, you know? And why did that happen? Well, because they weren't working on themselves. They were just going to work and working all day, and then somebody does something and their emotions just flash out. Because that you have to express somehow. You know, you can bottle all that up, but there is going to be a flood of energy come out of you, whether it's a backhand, you didn't even, and then you regret it immediately. I don't know. But it's gonna come out. It's gonna be felt. It's gonna be, and then you've got. We could talk about this for hours. I mean, the way that people respond to that reaction that dad or grandpa just had with grandson or son, and the people around them like shocked, and then all of a sudden mad at the one person, and then embracing the other one that's a trauma victim. And it's like, wait, but grandpa's really the trauma victim because he had to keep all that in him his whole life. And here I am complaining about the fact that I have to work on myself because I live in a time of technology where I can actually think about growing and healing generations after generations of stuff that's never been looked at. So what a blessing that we can actually live in a time where it is a turning, a healing, everybody's evolving in some way. Something's going on.
Yeah, there's definitely
something's going on in the world. So it's a blessing.
It is, and two, I also love the fact that, you know, our ancestry gives us our strengths. That, like, so much is talked about, like, all the trauma that comes from our ancestry. And it's like, I also like to just look at, oh my gosh, look at the men and women and what they endured.
Across
and
the country.
Faith that they had, and just
our ancestry's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here knocking our ancestry, our blood down at all.
Because we all come
resilient,
from
strong people.
Yeah. You know, I think that every single person who is in this world today at this time are strong.
Without a doubt.
Strong spirits to deal with what is happening in the world.
Without a doubt.
You know, I mean, we just are. And I'm so grateful that I get to do this work, that I get to see that I'm becoming more aware, and that I'm able to hear that the veil, oh my goodness, the veil is getting thinner and thinner, because we are getting closer and closer to, I mean, what the whole purpose of this world is, you know. I mean, it truly is just such a blessed time to be able to live, and I'm just so grateful. And I think that's such a huge thing, is just staying in that gratitude, staying in the gratitude through all of it. You know, I mean, because it's hard. I can't compare my hard challenges to anybody's, like, because each person's is so individually tailored and unique to us. Like, it's hard for all of us. Nobody has it easy.
We all live in
this
the
life.
same time. Yeah.
Because ease is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the challenges come from that as well. And all sorts of unhealthy things come from ease. Yeah.
That's why I said it's a blessing that we can live in this time. And I was just talking about our genealogy, but you're right. Everybody that's alive right now comes from something that's very strong to survive this world. And we are just very blessed to be the people that get to have the time and the life to work on healing these things that have just been around forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, like it comes really down to love. Like we have such an opportunity to truly learn how to love one another, to rid ourselves of all of the blood and of the generations past, like just all of the sins. That's what it is. All of the sins of the past generations. We don't have to carry those forward. Like, we have Jesus Christ. We have his grace. We have his mercy. We are being taught. We are being shown. I mean, you can look anywhere and we can learn about what we need to do to rid ourselves of this we are mortal, so we can't get rid of our flesh and our mortal, but we can become more and more pure, where we live in the Spirit, where we hear the Spirit, where we recognize it, where we see it in each other, where we're not judging one another and, picking each other's scabs and wounds and poking and bringing to remembrance all of our weaknesses and stuff. It's like we can uplift one another and encourage one another and help one another recognize, like, we got this, we could do this. Let's love one another past all of these traumas and all of this just stuff that we've inherited, that we have been given, in this life. We just have such an opportunity to change this world. We really do. That's a beautiful thing about it, is that I see the beauty, I see the growth in this world, and I see the light. I've been blessed in my life to be able to see the light, where a lot of people see the negative and the dark and are in that world. And I've just been so blessed that I have not. I'm aware of it and I know it's there and I experience stuff and see stuff, but my eyes are just so focused on the beauty and the gratitude and the light. And I love that right now you can see that the light is getting brighter because it is shining on the darkness in this world. All of the darkness it's always been there. We've just all been in survival. We've just all been oblivious, just doing our thing, living our lives, just being so unaware. But that dark has always been there since this earth is
not even looked at.
It just hasn't.
Some darkness in this world that hasn't even been looked at.
But it is
it's
happening.
Being looked at under a micro. Telescope, or whatever it is, microscope now.
Yeah.
That's great.
It really is. I'm so grateful. I just am. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for my challenges and what.
It's not a matter of if you're going to change the world. It's a matter of how you're going to change it.
Mm-hmm.
How big of an impact are you going to leave? And this is our world. This is the world.
It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're very blessed to live in a time of abundance and just so much stuff. You gotta pick and choose. I mean, there was never a time you had to pick and choose what you were going to eat for dinner.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know? Simple example.
Yeah.
And now it's like a buffet. What am I going to eat? What am I going to do? What am I going to do with my life?
There's so much. Yeah.
You just woke up and you were a carpenter
choices.
once upon a time. You're a blacksmith. It's your last name Smith. Black, whatever. I don't know what it was.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, you're born into it, and it's just what you do, and you don't look left or right.
Yeah.
You don't have a time to meditate, think.
No, you're out in the woods trying to find something to eat, or digging up in your garden so that you can cook dinner. Yeah.
So let's look at it.
Yeah. And what are we doing nowadays? We're sitting there just mindlessly scrolling and playing games, and we're caught in this whole universe that doesn't even really exist. It's just a creation, you know, in our minds, in a technological world that's just like, we can turn it off and actually be present with the people that we love, learning how to love ourselves and others and God. I mean, God just, he wants us to love him and love one another.
Love one another. It's good advice.
Yeah.
Love y'all. Life is good. Healed generational trauma.
Yeah.
It's important.
We can. We are. We're doing it. We are doing it. We are doing the hard work. We really are.
Well said.
All right. Bye, y'all.